The importance of captains in football has long been debated. The only official role stated for a captain in the laws of the game is that they must participate in the coin toss prior to the start of a match and once more in a game that goes to penalties. However, managers will often look to their skipper for leadership, instruction and motivation on the pitch. The game of football has been played for more than 150 years in roughly the same form as we know it today, so forgive me if your club's greatest captain or personal favourite misses out. This could be the top 100 rather than a top 7, and the honourable mentions would still be laced with all-time greats. Here are our 7 greatest captains in football history. Francesco Gento. The most successful captain of all time and one of the most successful players of all time, Francesco Gento led the most dominant team in European football history. The Spaniard won 12 La Liga titles, 6 European Cups, 2 Copa del Reys, 2 Latin Cups and 1 Intercontinental Cup. No other player has equalled his tally of 6 European Cups, and it's quite possible that no one ever will. He joined Real Madrid at the age of 20 and stayed until the age of 38, amassing 428 appearances and scoring 128 goals as an outside left. Widely regarded as one of Spain's greatest ever players, Gento captained that legendary Real Madrid side of the 1950s and continued as the team's leader up until his retirement in 1971. Carlos Puyol. From a legend of Real Madrid to a legend of Barcelona, when Carlos Puyol retired in 2014, analysis of his footballing career and contribution to the great Spain and Barcelona sides of his era began. Puyol retired after 15 years of first-team football at Barcelona and a decade as club captain. He played 392 games for Barca, in which he won 6 La Liga titles, 3 Champions Leagues and 10 other trophies. One former Barcelona teammate described him as a pain in the arse, but added that was exactly what we needed, and that hits the nail on the head. In a very stylish and technical Barcelona team, they required a Puyol-type player, a nastier, hard-working and more pragmatic figure at the Camp Nou. Bobby Moore. He was not a ranter or raver or a fist-pumping captain. That was how Geoff Hurst described Bobby Moore, and he didn't need to be. Moore's authority on the football pitch was assumed without any need to bellow or shriek. Hurst went on to say you knew Bobby wasn't happy with you just by a glance, and praise from him was so rare you knew you'd done something of great worth when it came your way. Cool, calm, and composed are the type of adjectives which best surmise Moore's play and demeanour, even on the grandest of stages, such as a World Cup final at Wembley. Franco Baresi. Franco Baresi was a man of great character who defied the odds throughout his career. Rejected by Inter Milan as a youngster, he joined cross-city rivals AC Milan instead, where he was handed his debut at 17. In 1989, Baresi would take to the field for Italy against the Dutch and play the entire second half with a broken arm. At the 1994 World Cup, Baresi was injured at the beginning of the tournament but refused to fly home, instead going under the knife immediately and eventually recovering in time to play in Italy's final game, the World Cup final. Baresi won 5 Serie A titles and 3 European Cups as AC Milan captain, and an additional Serie A title before he was handed the armband as a youngster. Obdulio Varela. Obdulio Varela is the man who inspired Uruguay to victory against all the odds at the 1950 World Cup in Brazil. What was essentially the final of the tournament between Uruguay and the host Brazil, despite it being a round-robin format, was considered a foregone conclusion by most. The Uruguayan FA was so fearful of humiliation that they even warned the players to just avoid embarrassment, telling them 4 is acceptable. Varela refused to accept such an attitude and rallied his troops, telling them to forget what they had just heard, to ignore the 170,000 Brazil fans in the stands, and just to play their own game the only way they knew how. Uruguay won the game 2-1 and thus won the World Cup, to the shock of the world and the dismay of the hosts. The man they called the Black Chief also captained Uruguayan giants Penarol, with whom he won 6 league titles. Roy Keane. With 11 career red cards, some may think Roy Keane lacked the discipline required to make a great captain, although anyone of that opinion presumably never saw him play. A brilliant player who disrupted the opposition, rarely lost the ball, and drove his team forward, he was crucial to Sir Alex Ferguson's success both on and off the field. A born winner, failure was not an option, and Keane epitomised absolute commitment and unrelenting effort for the cause. He captained Manchester United for 8 years, during which time they won 5 Premier League titles, 1 Champions League, and a couple of FA Cups. Franz Beckenbauer. As a captain, Franz Beckenbauer won every trophy going at both club and international level. His elegance and ability as a player were immediately obvious, but his steely determination and ferocious will to win were most glaringly made apparent at the 1970 World Cup, when he played on with his shoulder dislocated and his arm in a sling, as Germany were defeated 4-3 by Italy in the game of the century. Then aged 24, he had already been made Bayern Munich captain a year earlier, and was given the armband for West Germany when the tournament concluded. At the time, Der Kaiser, as he was known, was playing in central midfield, but he would go on to create the modern sweeper role and play it with a style, elegance, and effectiveness that still hasn't been matched or exceeded to this day. In his first two major tournaments as West Germany's captain, he won both, as Euro 72 was followed by the 1970 World Cup, in which West Germany beat the total football of Johan Cruyff and the Netherlands in the final. In total, Beckenbauer won 5 Bundesliga titles, 4 German Cups, 3 European Cups, 1 Cup Winners' Cup, and 1 Intercontinental Cup at club level. Individually, Beckenbauer won a vast array of honours, most notably 2 Ballon d'Ors, 4 German Footballer of the Year awards, and he made the World Cup team of the tournament on 3 separate occasions. Beckenbauer added another World Cup, another Bundesliga, and a UEFA Cup to his list of honours when he went into management. So that's it for our top 7, but there should be some honourable mentions in the video description below. Thanks for watching, give us a like if you enjoyed the video, and don't forget to subscribe to HITC Sevens.